God bless you, and welcome to my channel. I want to talk about having your own voice. I'm going to speak from my own life, and I hope that it encourages you, that it inspires you. For so many years, I learned to be quiet. I learned that my thoughts, that my opinions did not matter. And I wholeheartedly believe that with everything within me. I learned that from my interactions with people. I learned that from the various traumas I've experienced. I learned that by seeing people's reactions to when I would say something and it wasn't well received. And so I erroneously believed all of the things that were being spoken to me verbally and non-verbally. That my voice didn't matter. That what I thought was nothing, it didn't matter in the grand scheme of things. And so for years, I put so much effort in becoming a people pleaser. I would put my own desires aside. I would put my own wants aside. Sometimes even my needs. And I would do whatever I could to help those around me, to make sure that they were good. To make sure that they had me in this place where I was in their good graces. I sacrificed myself unnecessarily because I didn't see my own value. Because I was taught through my various interactions with people that my value stemmed from my performance, from what I could do for others. That it wasn't inherent in me. That it wasn't intrinsic. That I wasn't valuable just because God created me. No, my value stemmed from what I could do for others. I would do all kinds of things, not even putting myself second or third. I wasn't even on the list. And then there were times when I would speak up and it fell on deaf ears. My words fell on deaf ears. And so I learned to make myself even smaller, to where I was just pretty much a robot. This is a common experience for people. The Bible tells us that we don't experience things in this life that are uncommon to our fellow men. So a lot of times we feel like that it's just us that are going through these things, but no. This is a lot of people can relate to what I'm saying right now. You yourself have found yourself in that place, and you might even be in that place right now. See, you ended up unintentionally. You put yourself in a box. And then people put you in a box because that's who they knew you to be. That doormat, that person who would do anything for somebody else. But they didn't know that the more you gave, the more you gave, the more you gave, you were depleted. You were in a place where you were empty. And you gave out, trying to get filled back up. But it never worked. And then you would get burnt out, and it would just be this vicious cycle. But if you're like me, see, I'm in a place now where I have discovered my voice. Hallelujah, Jesus. I've discovered my voice. Not only have I discovered it, but I'm learning what that voice is. And I am using that voice. Now, because people are used to me behaving and used to me being a certain way, they expect me to act that way again, right? Because that's who they knew me to be. But they didn't know that who they were dealing with before, even just a few months ago. They didn't know that the woman that they were dealing with before didn't know who she was to an extent. But I was still in that people-pleasing mode. And I was unlearning that. So now when people interact with me, they knew me before, they're like, oh, she changed. Oh my goodness, what happened to her? Child, I got my voice and I'm learning to use it. And it's not going to fit into the box that I used to be in because I don't belong in boxes anymore. But you expect me to be there. If you are in a place where you have discovered your voice, use it. Now, don't be all, use some wisdom, okay? Don't be all ratchet with it, okay? Be respectful with the voice, all right? Be kind, be courteous with your voice. Think about what you're going to say. Ask for advice from somebody, some guidance, someone that you look up to that you know will tell you the truth if you off. But be comfortable with your voice. Use it. Use it wisely, use it lovingly, but be assertive. See, I was so passive for so long that when I stepped up in these recent months and became assertive, people don't know how to handle that. It startles them. They're like, who is she? Who is she? I'm a new person. That's who I am. I'm growing. I'm becoming who God created me to be. I'm not in that place, that broken place where I had to bow down and pretty much worship at the feet of people, trying to get into their good graces, worshiping at the altar of pleasing others. Yes, that is an altar. It's idolatry. Let's just call it what it is. It's idolatry. Trying to please other people. When I should have been focused on pleasing God. And how do you please God? By having faith. Hebrews 11:6. For without faith, it is impossible to please Him. All that God requires to be pleased, to find us pleasing, is to have faith. And then, of course, you live that faith walk, and you learn along the way. It's very simple to please God. I can't even begin to imagine how much energy I have wasted trying to please others, but no more. When I use my voice now, people don't know how to handle it, and that's okay. Also, I used to find it necessary to try and explain myself. See, because I thought that if I could just explain myself, that I would be received, that what I was saying would be more palatable. But no. See, people don't have the ability to be open-minded. I learned open-mindedness when I was in high school. And I learned that in college as well. And you know where I learned that from? My philosophy classes. Believe it or not. Some people knock philosophy. They make fun of it. But one of my takeaways from philosophy was being able to understand where people are coming from. Whether you agree or disagree with them, I was able to understand their perspective. I'm still able to do that today. Because of philosophy, it helped me to be open-minded, to not be locked in my way of thinking, but to be open and receptive to other people's viewpoints and to appreciate them. I may not agree with them. Doesn't matter. I can at least respect what they're saying and agree to disagree. That's okay. That's actually very mature of people to be able to do that genuinely from the heart. And so I believe God gave me an understanding and just a love for philosophy, because that's one of the things that he used to get me to this place where I can be open-minded and I can understand people even if I don't agree with them. But people are locked into their own way of thinking and they don't have that open-mindedness. Now, God can use various other things to get you to be open-minded, but that's what he used for me. That's how he crafted me, was to function on that type of intellectual level where I could learn to be open-minded. Back to my point, if you are in a place where you have discovered your voice and you use it to the best of your ability, you say things lovingly, you say things compassionately, you say what you're not going to tolerate. You say that in a nice way and people are not receptive to you, that's okay. That is not your problem. You are not responsible for other people's reactions. You are not responsible by whether or not they are offended by your voice. That's their problem. Let's just say what it is. That's their problem, that they are not open-minded. Don't take that on, because then you go back into that people-pleasing mode. You're taking it on because, oh my goodness, they don't like what I said, and don't get sucked back into that. You are not responsible for them. All you can do is be responsible for yourself. Be responsible for your perspective, and be responsible to use your voice and to use it well. By virtue of you using your voice, you're going to upset people. People are not going to agree with you. They're going to be stuck in their own mindsets. That's okay. That's where they are. Be open-minded enough to understand that that's where they are, and they can't come up to where you are right now. Maybe in the future, but they're not there yet, and that's okay. Continue to use and develop your voice, because your voice matters. You don't have to be a people pleaser anymore. You don't have to do things to just make others happy and to lay yourself on this false altar of worshiping flesh through the way of people pleasing. You don't have to do that anymore. You can rise up, use your voice, because God gave you a voice for a reason. If he wanted you to be a robot, believe me, he would. You be a robot, baby. But you're not a robot. You're a person. You have a mind. You have emotions. You have feelings. You have dreams. You have goals. Use your voice. Don't lose it. And if you regained it, don't lose it again. Having a voice is so valuable. It is so valuable, and it'll take you far in this life. Some of you are going to use that voice and get out of a relationship that is not good for you. Romantically, a friendship. Some of you are going to use your voice to leave a job that has been toxic for you, that you thought you had to settle for. You're going to use your voice and you're going to get out of that job or that career. Whatever you need to let go of, use your voice to do it. You don't have to settle for less. You don't have to put your own desires aside. You matter. Your desires matter. Your voice is important. The world needs to hear your voice. And many of you, God is going to use your voice. The boldness that you develop in this season, he's going to use your voice to be an encouragement to others. I said all that to say this. Don't be silent, but rise up and be that vocal instrument, and don't get enslaved to pleasing others anymore. Be blessed and be encouraged.
I've been trying to get my weight up, staying prayed up, meditating and taking time away.